everyone, my name is Soraya and I talk about skin health and wellness. Welcome to my channel. Today we're in summer and the most logical thing is to talk about summer things, and I did promise that I'm gonna be talking about sunscreens. So we're gonna be talking about sunscreens today. Coming from a country, Kenya, where there was a lot of sun, I was raised in the sun, I was born to be working in it. I did not have any like like problem or issue of being in the sun. I am dark skinned. I did not see the reason why I should wear sunscreen. Also, there's that belief that if you're dark or highly melanated, then you do not need to have sunscreen. Your body is like naturally protects you. That's why we are dark. That's what our skin is for. However, being in later on, being in the medical field and doing reading about stuff, reading about skincare, I knew about sunscreen. I just didn't put it on. So where did the flip switch? Like, I knew that the sunscreen would protect my skin, that it protects from skin damage. I think where it switched is when I came and traveled to New England. And I'm not saying that the sun is different, but sometimes I feel like it's different, because sometimes in the summer New England can be quite hot, and if you're directly underneath the sun, it can like literally hits you different. Although my first sunburn was actually in Kenya, I did not have sunscreen, and that day was particularly hot, and I do not know what I was doing, but I think I was like, my back was exposed. So I just went out and my back was exposed, and I think I was resting and something, and when I went back in, oh my god, my skin was so painful and dark. That was my first sunburn. And I think because, one, it was like extremely hot, I had exposed myself, I did not have any sunscreen or protective clothing, so of course the sun just hit my skin, and I didn't know I was gonna get this kind of sunburn, but I did. So I was like just applying cool cloths and Vaseline to it eventually went away. But the other thing was that I had traveled from like a cold climate, which was from here going to Kenya, so I don't know if that also contributed to that, because your skin kind of adapts differently to the environment, and depending on how much you've been in that environment for quite a while. So that was the first time I was like, okay, maybe I do need some sunscreen. So where does this story lead me to? It just removes the myth that melanated skin does not need sunscreen. Melanin provides some kind of natural protection against the sun, but it is not it does not protect you well against UVA rays. So let's get into the like, what is sunscreen and what kind of sun or UV rays from the sun affects us. So sunscreen protects you from, well, it protects your skin from the harmful effects of UV radiation, which comes from the sun, reducing the risk of sunburn, premature aging, and skin cancer. It also helps to even out your skin tone, and it reduces inflammation. So the sun has two types of rays. It has UVA rays and it has UVB rays. The UVB rays is what is primarily the cause of sunburn, but you also have the UVA rays, which actually penetrate deeper than the UVB rays, and they're the ones that cause aging, lines, wrinkles, and spots. It also, like, UVAs are persistent all year round, and are present even like in cloudy days. It's present indoors if the sunlight is shining through. So those are the UVA rays. They penetrate a little bit deeper than the UVB rays. So sunscreen is essentially protecting you from it can protect from both UVA and UVB, but mainly from the UVB rays, especially the mineral sunscreen. So what are the types of sunscreens? You have two types of sunscreens. You have the chemical sunscreen, and you have the mineral and physical sunscreens. As the name says, the chemical sunscreens contain certain chemicals which absorb the UV radiation, and then before it hits your skin and turns that UV rays into heat, and the heat dissipates away or is released by the body. The chemicals that it has, you'll see things like oxybenzone and avibenzone. Those are the two types of chemicals that are mainly used. There might be more, I'm not quite sure, but those are the two that are mainly used. For the physical or mineral sunscreen, that's as it says, it's a physical sunscreen, so it actually blocks the UVB rays from penetrating deeper into your skin. So it contains minerals like zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, which acts as blockers of those rays. It creates like a physical barrier of sorts. These are the ones which may have the white cast, especially on dark skin, and as much as it has the white cast, these days formulations are a bit better and are formulated a little bit better, either to prevent the white cast or to have a mixture of both the physical and mineral to protect you from both, like having both processes of protection from the UV rays. So yeah, so like the zinc can make your skin a little bit white, which is why some people that do not, like wearing those kind of sunscreens. I actually like the mineral and physical sunscreens. I've found them to be, I mean, I use both, but for me the physical ones are less irritating for some reason than the chemical sunscreens. And so why was I like, for me, what was my reason for flipping that switch of wearing the sunscreen? I realized that it's helping to protect my skin from hyperpigmentation, which is a big thing for me, especially because of acne and acne scarring. So apart from it reducing the risk of sunburn, I mean, of course we don't want sunburn. As I told you, I had a risk of sunburn. I would like to reduce my skin aging process, and also it kind of evens out the skin tone, because it helps to reduce the amount of melanin trigger on the skin, because the sun, those UV rays trigger the melanin spots, or acne or inflammation, and cause more melanin production. So the sunscreen or sunblock helps to reduce the amount of triggering of the melanocytes, helping to reduce the hyperpigmentation. You can just imagine if like someone who has sunblock and somebody who doesn't have sunblock plus acne. So if you have acne and you're being hit by the sun, and your melanocytes are reacting compared to the person who has sunblock, and the melanocytes are being controlled so that they do not trigger as much melanin from the reaction from the UV rays triggering your acne or melanocyte process. So it helps to clear the hyperpigmentation faster and even out your tone faster. So that's how I figured, and it has actually helped my skin to have less hyperpigmentation. So that was my reasons for using sunscreen. Hyperpigmentation is quite a big reason risk for me. So I think it would help any of you who have acne or who are dark skinned like me and have acne and are trying to reduce the hyperpigmentation process. So apart from the sunscreen, the types of sunscreens, the sunscreens also have what you call SPF or sun protective factor. What is recommended is a sun protective factor of above 30, and even for darker skin, the higher, they actually want you to have a higher SPF going towards 50. So I have one which is 50, but sometimes I have like before I used to use like 30, thinking it was enough for me. Then I changed to 50. But depending on how you want that protection, how much protection you want from the sun, then the higher the SPF, the better it's blocking the sun from reaching the UV rays from reaching your skin. Apart from sunscreen, which is of course helping your skin from those rays, you should also have in mind that you can also protect your skin from the sun's rays by using physical things, using hats, caps, shades, protective clothing, if you're able. I mean, if, of course, if you can avoid the sun, I mean, like being directly under the sun, that would help, like shade, being under a tree, being under an umbrella, covering, you don't have to cover with like a heavy cloth, but like a light cloth. Like if you're going maybe to the beach, you can wear like what is it, like like your hats, your caps, your like I'm trying to think that like the cloth. I'm trying to think of the cloth that people wear, kind of like a coat or something, like a cover up. Yeah, like a cover up, so that you're not like being directly hit by the sun. Physical protectors, you'll see, especially for light-skinned people, like with Korean skincare, they are very protective of their skin, and you will see when they go outside, they wear a hat, they wear a cap, they wear something that will protect their skin from actually getting hit directly from the sun. So those are the things that you can use. And then also, apart from the physical, you also, like when you're using sunscreen, of course there may be like side effects or allergies. So side effects, as I had said, I mean not I had said, the side effects are like the white cast. As I said, the formulations are getting better. For allergies, you can get irritations, like it can cause inflammation, redness, itching. So if you are gonna put a sunscreen, it's recommended that you do like a patch test. As in any skin formulation that you're using, it's good to do a patch test if you're using it for the first time, and see if you have any reaction to it. If you have any irritation or reaction to it that you don't think is good, then you should discontinue it immediately. You can also see like what ingredients it has, and see if you can try another formulation which may not have the ingredient, especially if you know the ingredient is one which is causing you irritation, or especially like the chemical ones. If you think it's the chemical ones, you can try using the physical or mineral sunscreens. Also, apart from irritation and redness, some of them have been, depending on how like what you are using, for especially like the mineral sunscreens, or how heavy the formulations are, depending on how they've been mixed with other ingredients, they can cause clogging of your pores and then worsen your acne. So you also have to kind of see like what is working for your skin. Is your skin oily, dry? Are the formulations good for those kinds of skin? And do the ingredients are they helpful for your skin? So especially now for darker skin, they have formulations which are suited for your type of skin, if it's dry, if it's oily. And then they also have things that may also reduce hyperpigmentation, like or maybe brighten your skin, like niacinamide, vitamin C, alpha arbutin. So you may use formulations which also have the additional formulations. As I usually recommend Dr. V. You can check her sunscreen list, and see what kind of formulations that she recommends, which may have better potential for reducing hyperpigmentation and avoiding you from getting skin problems like skin cancer or melasma or any other thing that may cause hyperpigmentation. So what do you want to do then for your sunscreen? So step one is to choose the sunscreen you want to use. Do you want a chemical sunscreen? Do you want a physical sunscreen? And then from there, what SPF do you want to use? Do you want 30? Do you want 50? Do you want more than 50? And then from there, you choose the formulation that you'd like. Is it suited for your skin? Is it for an oily skin? Does it have the things that may help your skin, like the niacinamide? And check the reviews to see if it does have a white cast, then have a white cast, and then try it out. Of course, do your patch test and see if it works and it's not irritating your skin. If it's not irritating your skin, then you feel free to use it. So when you're using it, usually it is recommended that every 2 hours you reapply, especially if you're outside, and if you're like near like a beach or a swimming pool where you're gonna enter water and the skin sunscreen can come off. Then so every time you go in and then you come back out, then you're supposed to reapply your sunscreen so that you're getting protected from the sun adequately. Of course, it will have all of these instructions on the bottle. You can also spray the ones to apply. There's the ones which you spray. I personally like the ones which I am applying. I like the ones which I have to apply. I don't know, for some reason it gives me comfort in knowing that it's going directly on my skin rather than spraying. I'm not quite sure. It gives me comfort that I'm applying it on my skin rather than spraying. Of course, continue to wear protective clothing, your hats, your caps, your protective layers, your protective clothes, your umbrellas, your shades. So facts to know is that UVA can worsen and prolong hyperpigmented spots, and sunscreen helps to prevent post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Brands that have been recommended include the La Roche-Posay, La Roche-Posay and Athelios Mineral Tinted SPF 50, and Supergroup Unseen Sunscreen SPF 40. I don't have the two. I use actually a drugstore one. I'll show you. Let me get them for you. So these are the two sunscreens that I use at the moment, and you might have seen them before, but this is the Fig Mineral Sunscreen 50 SPF. Fig Mineral Sunscreen 50 SPF. It does say invisible finish down there. It has hyaluronic acid and sea algae extract, and it says it protects from both UVA and UVB. At the back it says shake well, apply liberally, evenly 15 minutes before sun exposure, reapply at least every 2 hours, apply to all skin exposed to the skin, and then ask a doctor if any problems occur. Do not use on damaged skin, keep out of the eyes, rinse with water to remove if it does enter the eyes. Yeah, and this is made in the US for the people who need. You can go to their website or look it up on Google to see if you can get the Fig sunscreen. And then you also have the UVS. It doesn't have any cast. The invisible finish is actually invisible finish. I have sunscreen right now, you can't even tell. I also have the drugstore one, which is just a local CVS brand, which I don't know if you can see, but it's the 50 clear zinc lotion. It also has 50 SPF, both for UVA and UVB protection. It says it's water resistant for 80 minutes. It goes on clear. It's non-greasy, which I need for my face. It's oxybenzone free, octinoxate free. It can be put on the ears, nose, face. It has zinc oxide. It also has octocrylene. As I said, sometimes they mix the two. I'm not quite sure the octocrylene. We can check that. It says it decreases sunburn, risk of sun cancer because, as I said, of the UVA and UVB rays. Let's see. It's fragrance free. It doesn't usually cause breakouts. It hasn't ever caused breakouts for me. It's very lightweight. It is lightweight. And the same thing, apply liberally for 15 minutes, at least every 2 hours. Limit time in the sun. wear long sleeve shirts, pants, hat, sunglasses. So if you really follow these instructions, then you know you're going to be able to protect yourself from hyperpigmentation and the skin side bad side effects of the sun. You may have to look at the other ingredients. It does have some other ingredients here: water, of course the other things that they mixed to use in the mixture. It has beeswax, aloe, yeah, and tocopherol, which is usually vitamin E. So you can see sometimes the other small ingredients may cause a reaction, so you can check the other ingredients and see if they work for you. So yeah, so I would recommend, especially in the sun, that we wear sunscreen. We should wear sunscreen on our dark skin and prevent any skin problems that may occur. We do not want to have any problems with our hyperpigmentation, which is a major thing for us, but also we do not want to have any skin cancer or skin aging. I think we're really good at protecting ourselves, especially with the protective clothing, but we might have problems, especially on the facial, hands, feet areas. So it's just good to have the sunscreen. As I said, depending on your environment, some people, like the ozone layer in different environments is different, so you might be getting the sun effects directly in one area, in one environment, more than the other. Since we do not know how this climate is, it's just good to be proactive. So yeah, if you have any questions, please leave a comment, share, and I hope that you're able to follow these tips, and I hope it helps you out. That is what I have for sunscreens. I'm gonna be talking to you on other things. Just follow this channel, check out my playlist, and see what is good for you, and leave any comments that you may want, or if any topics that you want me to discuss. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.